Netflix has done it again. They've brought us a brand new basketball series that takes us deep into the lives of some of the NBA's biggest stars. It's called Starting Five, and trust me, it's not just about what happens on the court. It's about everything: their wins, their struggles, their families, their emotions. This series shows us a side of these players we've never seen before. If you love basketball or just great storytelling, you're going to love Starting Five. Let's dive into how this show was made and what makes it so special. Big names behind the show. First, let's talk about the people who made this series happen. The idea for Starting Five didn't just come out of nowhere. It was inspired by another Netflix hit, Quarterback, which followed NFL players like Patrick Mahomes. That show gave fans an inside look at football like never before, and it made people want more. However, Starting Five was created by three major production companies, each bringing something special to the table. First, there's Uninterrupted, a media company founded by LeBron James. They have been making athlete-driven documentaries for years, focusing on real, raw, and personal sports stories. Their goal is always to give fans a deeper look into athletes' lives beyond just what happens on the court. Then, there's Omaha Productions, the company started by NFL legend Peyton Manning. If you've seen Netflix's hit series Quarterback or Receiver, then you already know how good they are at telling behind-the-scenes sports stories. With Starting Five, they used their experience to shape the show's structure, making sure it flowed smoothly and kept viewers engaged. Finally, we have Higher Ground, the production company created by Barack and Michelle Obama. They are known for making powerful and emotional documentaries, and Starting Five is their first sports series. Their focus was on storytelling, making sure the emotions, struggles, and triumphs of these players were captured in the most compelling way possible. Together, these three powerhouse companies created something truly unique. Starting Five isn't just about basketball. It's about the people behind the jerseys. It's about their dreams, challenges, and personal moments that we don't usually get to see. And that's what makes this series so special. But making Starting Five wasn't easy. The NBA is very protective of its players and their private lives. It took a lot of convincing to get the league, the teams, and the players to agree to let cameras follow them all season long. But once they saw what Quarterback had done for football, they were all in. And that's how we got Starting Five, a show that gives us full access to NBA stars like never before. A new way to tell NBA stories. One of the most exciting things about Starting Five is that it's the first time Netflix has worked with the Obama's production company on a sports series. Higher Ground has created powerful documentaries before, but this is their first step into the world of sports. And they made sure that this series isn't just about basketball. It's about real life, real struggles, and real emotions. The series was directed by Susan Ansman, Tristan Williams, and Peter J. Scaletter, with Scaletter also serving as the showrunner. They worked closely with the players to make sure every episode felt real and authentic. And the best part? This is just the beginning. Even before the first season dropped, Netflix announced a second season. The next lineup of players will include Jaylen Brown, Kevin Durant, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Tyrese Halliburton, and James Harden. That means even more behind-the-scenes moments and more incredible basketball stories. Meet the players. The first season of Starting Five follows five NBA stars through the 2023-24 season. These players are not just great at basketball. They have stories that make them even more interesting. First, there's LeBron James, one of the greatest players of all time. We see him balancing his career with his family life, especially after his son, Bronny, suffered a health scare. Then there's Jimmy Butler, known for his intense playoff performances. But outside of basketball, he's a man of many interests, from making coffee to even working on a country music album. We also get to know Jason Tatum, the young Celtics star who faced massive pressure to win a championship. He lets us into his world, where he's not just a player, he's also a dad. Then there's Anthony Edwards, one of the most exciting young players in the league. He's confident, fun, and full of energy, but we also see a softer side of him when he becomes a father for the first time. Lastly, there's Domantas Sabonis, a quiet but skilled player with a strong basketball legacy. His father was also an NBA star, and we see how that shaped his journey. More than just basketball, What makes Starting 5 different from other NBA shows is that it doesn't just focus on the games. It goes deeper, showing the personal moments that fans don't usually see. For LeBron, one of the biggest moments in the series is when he opens up about Bronny's cardiac arrest. In episode 4, he thanks the USC trainer who saved his son's life. It's a touching moment that reminds us that even superstars like LeBron have fears and struggles just like anyone else. Jimmy Butler also has a deeply personal story. Right before winning the 2023 Eastern Conference Finals MVP, he found out his father was diagnosed with a terminal illness. Instead of celebrating, he rushed to the hospital to be with his dad, handing him the MVP trophy. Later in the season, after scoring a triple-double in a game, he gave his dad his autographed shoes, only to find out later that his father had passed away. These moments show a side of Butler that fans rarely see. Jason Tatum's journey is all about pressure. The Celtics have been close to a championship many times, but they hadn't won in years. Throughout the series, we see how hard it is to play in a city where winning is everything. His coach, Joe Mazzulla, even says that dealing with high expectations is a privilege, not a burden. In episode 10, when Tatum finally wins the NBA championship, the relief on his face says it all. Funny and unexpected moments. Not everything in Starting 5 is serious. The series also has some really fun and surprising moments. For example, in episode 1, we finally learn the story behind Emo Jimmy. Remember when Jimmy Butler showed up to NBA Media Day with straightened hair and piercings, looking like he was in a rock band? It turns out his nanny introduced him to emo music, and he got really into bands like Fall Out Boy. He even ended up starring in one of their music videos. Another funny moment comes from the NBA's new in-season tournament. A producer asks Anthony Edwards to explain how the tournament works, and without hesitation, he says, "I don't know it." Jimmy Butler and Jason Tatum admit they don't understand it either. Luckily, Domantas Sabonis steps in and explains it perfectly. Speaking of Sabonis, episode 2 has a hilarious story from NBA legend Kevin Garnett. He remembers playing with Sabonis' father, Arvydas, in 1995. Back then, Arvydas was already a veteran player, and KG recalls seeing him smoking a cigarette in the locker room while talking trash. It's a wild and funny moment that shows how much the NBA has changed over the years. Big life changes. One of the most heartwarming parts of Starting 5 is seeing how these players' lives change throughout the season. Anthony Edwards, for example, becomes a father. In episode 7, we see him leaving a game at halftime to rush to the hospital for the birth of his daughter, Island. But even in that special moment, his love for basketball shows. He watches the rest of the game on his phone in the delivery room. Not only this, LeBron also spends a lot of time talking about the importance of family. In episode 3, he laughs off rumors that he spends $1.5 million a year on his body, saying that it's really about the time and effort he puts in. He also shares how much Bronny's health scare changed his perspective. At this point in his career, basketball is still important, but his family comes first. Meanwhile, Jimmy Butler dives into his passion for country music. In episode 5, he sits down with country artists to write songs about his life. One of the funniest moments comes when he tells them about a text he got from someone putting him in the friend zone and decides to turn it into a song. What people think about Starting 5. After watching Starting 5, fans and critics had a lot to say. Some loved it, while others felt it could have been better. Well, sports writer Katie Baker from The Ringer really enjoyed the personal moments in the show. She said the best parts weren't the big basketball games, but the small, real-life moments, like players walking through locker room hallways, chatting in their kitchens, or in Anthony Edwards' case, being in a hospital delivery room. She thought these moments made the show feel fresh and different from other sports documentaries. She also praised the 5 players for really embracing the cameras and letting fans into their lives. Edwards, in particular, got a lot of love for his fun and energetic personality. But not everyone was impressed. Jason Jones from The Athletic liked how the show explored family life, but he wasn't blown away by the basketball side of things. He felt the show didn't really give any new or deep insights about the game itself. Then there was Allison Herman from Variety, who was even more critical. She thought the show played it too safe. Sure, fans got to see inside the players' homes and meet their families, but she felt the show didn't dig deep enough. The players all seemed polished, and there wasn't much raw emotion. She even said their social media pages might reveal more about them than the show did. What's next for Starting 5? Even with mixed reviews, Netflix isn't stopping. A second season is already on the way. This time, the spotlight will be on Jaylen Brown, Kevin Durant, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Tyrese Halliburton, and James Harden. Fans can't wait to see what's next. Have you watched the series yet? What is your take on this? Let us know in the comments, give a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.